At 9 a.m. Thursday in New Delhi, Ms. von der Leyen stood beside Mr. Modi and declared, "We have signed the most important agreement ever. We have created a free trade area with a population of 2 billion, and both sides will benefit." I want to make it clear what just happened. The European Union and India, representing 2 billion people, a combined GDP of $27 trillion, and accounting for 25% of global economic output, have just signed the largest trade agreement in Indian history. This is not just economic, this is geopolitical. Mr. Modi said that the partnership with the EU will strengthen stability in the international system at a time when the global order is in turmoil, and everyone knows he was referring to Mr. Trump. The deal will eliminate or reduce tariffs on 6% of EU goods exports to India, saving European companies up to €4 billion a year in duties. Indian tariffs on cars will eventually drop from 110% to 10%. European wines that face 150% tariffs will now enter India at just 30%. And here's the part that should terrify every American. This happened because President Donald Trump's tariffs pushed both India and the EU to seek alternative markets. Trump created his 50% tariffs on India, his constant threats against Europe. He drove them into each other's arms. If you were a European leader watching Trump threaten your allies every single day, would you trust America with your country's future? Tell me in the comments. The numbers don't lie about how catastrophically Trump has damaged America's alliances. According to recent polling, just 2 years after G7 leaders met in Hiroshima declaring they were more united than ever, today allies are scrambling to pin down deals with the Donald Trump administration to avoid higher tariffs while simultaneously building trade networks that exclude the United States entirely. Trust in America has collapsed. Only 16% of EU citizens still view the U.S. as a reliable ally. Only 25% of British citizens trust America. Australia and New Zealand, where the U.S. has become extremely unpopular, are now openly considering foreign policy shifts away from Washington. This is unprecedented. America's closest allies, countries that fought beside us in every major conflict for 75 years, are now publicly discussing how to reduce reliance on U.S. military power because they can't trust Trump. What sends shivers down my spine is that Trump is not only destroying present relationships, he's warning allies about the future. America has been a reliable partner for decades. Trump shattered that in 18 months. The same system that protected American economic dominance is now protecting everyone else from Trump's chaos. These countries aren't victims of Trump's trade wars, they're survivors building lifeboats while the Titanic sinks. How does it feel knowing our grandparents built these alliances with blood and sacrifice, and Trump is destroying them with tweets? Let me know what you think. While the world was building alliances, Trump was threatening his own partners. On Monday, Trump announced he was increasing tariffs on goods from South Korea from 15% to 25%, specifically blaming the South Korean legislature for delaying a trade deal. Think about that. South Korea, one of America's most crucial military allies, the country hosting 28,500 U.S. troops as a bulwark against North Korea, just got slapped with punitive tariffs because their democratically elected legislature wanted time to review a deal. Trump wrote on Truth Social, "Because the Korean legislature hasn't enacted our historic trade agreement, which is their prerogative, I am hereby increasing South Korean tariffs on autos, lumber, pharma." If you were South Korea's president, staring at North Korea's nuclear weapons while Trump punishes you for democracy working too slowly, what would you do? Stay with America or start looking for new partners? Trump's attacks on Canada have been even more deranged. After Canada negotiated a limited trade arrangement with China to reduce tariffs on agricultural products, Trump threatened Saturday to impose a 100% tariff on goods imported from Canada. He posted on Truth Social, "If Canada makes a deal with China, it will immediately be hit with a 100% tariff against all Canadian goods and products coming into the USA." Here's the stunning hypocrisy. Just 1 week earlier, Trump had said about Canada's China deal, that's what he should be doing. It's a good thing for him to sign a trade deal. So within 7 days, Trump went from praising Canada for the exact same deal to threatening 100% tariffs over it. This is what happens when foreign policy is dictated by whatever Trump saw on TV that morning. Canadian officials have had enough. While they work diplomatically to reassure Washington, Industry Minister Melanie Joly is creating an auto task force and made clear Canada does not want to see any erosion of its manufacturing sector from Trump's chaos. This is where Trump's language becomes even more dangerous. Legal experts have warned that threatening 100% tariffs against your closest ally, a country you share the longest undefended border in the world with, crosses into economic warfare territory. Trump is using the same tactics authoritarian regimes use: arbitrary punishment, sudden reversals, threats designed to create chaos and submission. Canada will not submit. Joly made that clear. And that's why so many foreign policy experts are openly worried that Trump's escalation could fracture the most peaceful, prosperous bilateral relationship in modern history. This is where it gets truly devastating for American power. Brussels is accelerating trade talks with Canada, Japan, and South Korea, while the EU's free trade agreement with Mercosur, the South American trade bloc, would lead to the largest free trading area in the world. Look at what's being built while America isolates itself. EU plus India, $27 trillion market, 2 billion people. EU plus Mercosur, Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay, the largest free trade zone ever created. EU plus Japan, Indonesia, Mexico, all signed in the past year. Canada plus China, trade partnerships forming despite U.S. threats. Germany plus India, strategic defense and security partnerships similar to partnerships the EU has with Japan and South Korea. Von der Leyen explicitly framed this as a response to Trump. She said the India deal sends a strong message that cooperation is the best answer to global challenges. Translation: cooperation works better than Trump's bullying. Behind the scenes, Trump is pressuring his trade representatives, calling them weak for not forcing other countries to surrender. But the real danger is how completely Trump has misunderstood power. He thinks threats create leverage. What they actually create is the exact scenario we're seeing now: the entire world uniting to isolate America. Look at those alliances being formed: EU-India, EU-Mercosur, Canada-China, Germany-India. Notice what's missing? The United States. We're not even in the room. How does that make you feel as an American? Here's what legal and foreign policy experts are saying, and it's damning. Trump's tariff threat reflects his transactional approach to alliances, where economic commitments are treated as enforceable obligations rather than long-term strategic understandings. That's diplomatic language for Trump doesn't understand that alliances are built on trust, not threats. The contrast with Biden's approach couldn't be starker. Under Biden, America worked with allies through institutions and partnerships. Under Trump, America issues ultimatums via Truth Social at 3 a.m. Modi is similarly trying to find new markets for a country Trump once dubbed the Tariff King, so Trump's own insults are driving India toward Europe. The most stunning part of this entire collapse is how openly Trump admits to the very abuse of power he claims to fight against. He keeps screaming that other countries are ripping off America with unfair trade deals, and in the same breath, in the same sentence, practically with those tiny little fingers pounding away on Truth Social, he threatens 100% tariffs on Canada for daring to trade with China. He is exposing himself without even realizing it. He has done this before. He once praised Canada's China deal, then reversed completely because he was in such deep cognitive decline that he didn't realize he was contradicting himself within days. He pressured South Korea to sign a trade deal, then punished them for their democracy, working slowly. He demanded loyalty from allies while offering none in return. And now he is doing it again, threatening every country that refuses to bow to his demands. Donald Trump tells us everything. He gives away the game. He says out loud that he wants to weaponize trade, intimidate democracies, and force the world to choose. submit to Trump or be destroyed. This is not normal. This has never been normal. No modern American president has ever turned trade policy into a weapon so openly, so shamelessly, so proudly. Trump is not hiding it, he is celebrating it. If Joe Biden threatened 100% tariffs on Canada for signing a trade deal, Fox News would call it tyranny, Republicans would scream dictatorship. But when Trump does it, they stay silent because they know exactly what he is doing and they approve of it. Let's talk about what this really means for America's place in the world. Trump campaigned on America first. He promised to make America so strong that everyone would bow to us. He said he was the greatest deal maker in history. And now, the EU is pivoting away from the US and China by building the world's largest trade networks, and America isn't even at the table. EU Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič described the new strategy as more pragmatic on deliverables rather than getting stuck on political red lines, saying to partners, if this is sensitive for you, let's not touch it. That's a direct rebuke of Trump's approach: bully, threaten, demand total capitulation. Meanwhile, von der Leyen traveled to New Delhi as a guest of honor at India's Republic Day celebrations, one of the highest diplomatic honors India can bestow. She stood with Modi watching military parades. She signed security partnerships. She built relationships. Trump spent the same week threatening Canada with 100% tariffs on Truth Social. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow said it perfectly. Donald Trump wanted to make America great again. Instead, he's made America irrelevant. While he threatens our allies on social media, those allies are building the future without us. Decades from now, historians will point to this week as the moment American global leadership ended. The Washington Post editorial board wrote, "Future generations will ask how America went from leading the free world to being excluded from its largest trade agreements." And the answer will be simple: Donald Trump happened. Even Fox News' Bret Baier looked uncomfortable reporting this story. I'm not sure how we come back from this. Our allies don't trust us. They're making plans that don't include us. This isn't what America First was supposed to look like. We are watching the end of American hegemony in real time. European leaders have internalized the lesson that Europe cannot afford to swap reliance on Russian pipelines for reliance on American energy or security guarantees. An expert told CNBC that for India and the EU, this deal will be one of the best they can get because US and China are closed off for a deal. Think about that. The United States, the world's largest economy, the architect of the global trading system, has made itself so unreliable that other countries are building their futures assuming America won't participate. Trump has achieved something remarkable. He's united the entire world in opposition to the United States. India and Europe are cooperating. Canada is standing firm. South Korea is diversifying. Japan, Australia, New Zealand are all reconsidering their relationships with Washington. Even traditionally pro-American governments are now planning for a world where America can't be trusted. This is not America First. This is America alone. And the terrifying part? At the World Economic Forum, Canadian PM Carney warned the world is in the midst of a rupture, not a transition, urging middle powers to cooperate against coercion and threats. And everyone knew he meant Trump. And here's what should terrify everyone. Trump is desperately trying to distract from this disaster. In the past 72 hours alone, he's threatened 5 different countries with tariffs, started a new fight over Greenland, attacked federal judges on Truth Social, made bizarre claims about election fraud, retweeted conspiracy theories about vaccines. This is the distraction cascade in action. Trump knows the mother of all deals story is catastrophic. He knows every headline about EU-India cooperation is proof of American irrelevance. So he's manufacturing chaos, hoping some other controversy will push this story out of the news cycle. Don't let him. During his press conference Monday, not one journalist asked Trump how he felt watching America's allies build a $27 trillion trade zone without us. Not one asked if he regrets threatening Canada. Not one asked if he understands why South Korea is angry. This is journalistic malpractice. If we let Trump bury this story under an avalanche of manufactured outrage, we're sending a message. Presidents can destroy American leadership, isolate our allies, and face no accountability as long as they create enough noise.